Hi guys, Joe Walker here, and today we're in the BMW X7. This is BMW's flagship SUV, and today we're gonna get to drive it to Tagaytay. So is it worth your money? Let's find out. You can't talk about the X7 styling without addressing the elephant in the room. And it does have one thing in common with an elephant. It has a pretty prominent proboscis, or nose. The grille of the X7 has been oversized, and it's been a topic of contention among BMW purists. I happen to like it. I think it gives the X7 more presence. I think bigger grills on BMWs are a good thing. Up to a certain point, of course. But even if it pushes the boundaries of BMW's design, it still respects those boundaries. It still has the Hofmeister kink. The grills are bigger, but they're more or less the same shape. The X7 has a very masculine look to it. It has a strong jawline. The rear looks chunky. It looks squared off. You have a lot of straight lines and edges, and you don't really have a lot of curves. The X7 comes with 21-inch wheels, which don't look big at all on the X7. You don't quite get a full sense of its size on video, but the X7 is a very large SUV. It will dwarf any pickup-based SUV. It is 5 meters long, 2 meters wide, and 1.8 meters tall. Its sheer size gives it a presence that few other SUVs can rival. By the way, the X7 has air suspension, so the ride height can vary depending on your settings. We'll talk more about the air suspension later on our test drive. Like the X5, the X7 also has two tailgates, which you can open remotely. Doesn't that look cool? So, the good thing about this setup is that you don't need a lot of space behind you to open it. Because the tailgate is divided into two smaller sections, it doesn't take up as much space. I can think of a number of adjectives to describe the X7. It looks stately, it looks opulent, it looks smug, it looks imposing, and it makes the competition look a little tame in comparison. So the BMW X7 never forgets to remind you that it's the flagship SUV of BMW. The interior looks pretty similar to other BMW models, but you get a lot more stuff here. For example, you get heated and cooled cup holders. These cup holders are cooled. As you can see, there's a bit of condensation forming there. You can also heat your drinks. You don't just get a panoramic sunroof, you get another sunroof for the third row passengers. And you also get a wireless phone charger. You don't just get power adjustable front seats, you get power adjustable second row seats, and you get power adjustable third row seats. The seats are very important in a luxury vehicle, especially for those who are not so young anymore. And I would lump myself in that category. So I'm very particular about the seats. The seats on the X7 are some of the most comfortable that I've ever sat on. You get adjustable lumbar support, adjustable thigh support, adjustable bolstering, adjustable shoulder support, and also you get very soft pillows on the headrests. No matter what shape you are, you can fine-tune the seats to your liking. And also, all the seats are covered in high-quality quilted leather. The second row seats are also power adjustable. You can move them forward and back, and you can adjust the recline angle. The second row seats have a 60-40 split. The third row seats are power folding. There's also a button to fold all the seats down if you need to quickly maximize your cargo capacity. So everything in the X7 is designed to be operated with very minimal effort. You can just use one finger, and you can fold the seats, you can adjust the seats, you can open the tailgate, you can even close the doors with just one finger. The X7 has soft closed doors. As you'd expect from any BMW, everything is made of high quality materials. You have leather everywhere, you have copious amounts of wood, you have aluminum, and there are no cheap plastics anywhere in sight. And you get this crystal shifter. You get plenty of ambient lighting. The BMW X7 has a 12.3-inch infotainment screen. It has Apple CarPlay, it has Android Auto, and it has a 360 camera. So you get two displays here. You have a center armrest, which is nicely padded, and you have two cup holders. Over here you have two zones for your climate control. You have two aircon vents, two separate adjustments for the temperature, and only one adjustment for the fan speed. This, I believe, is a CD player. You also have two headphone jacks here. You have one HDMI port and two USB-C ports over here. And underneath you have two more USB-C ports and one 12-volt outlet. Just enough. The headroom is about this much. And you also get another zone for your climate control. So you have 5-zone climate control here. We have one cup over here, one USB-C port. The BMW X7 is powered by a 3-liter 6-cylinder diesel engine. It's the same engine that powers the BMW 530d. It produces 265 horsepower and 620 Newton meters of torque. The engine is coupled to an 8-speed torque converter transmission. So for this trip, we went to Escala, Tagaytay. I got to drive the X5 on the way there, and the X7 on the way back to Manila. I'll post my X5 video soon, so watch out for that. In the meantime, it's time for our obligatory time lapse. I didn't get to explore Escala much because I was busy taking videos of the X7, but it has the best view of Lake Taal that I've seen. And the food is also pretty good. So, like most BMWs, the X7 also has different drive modes. There's Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro, and Adaptive. The X7 would change its throttle response, the suspension settings, and the steering depending on which mode you're in. In sport mode, the air suspension lowers the vehicle, and I assume that it makes the suspension stiffer as well, although I barely noticed a difference in ride quality. The most noticeable difference is in the throttle response. In sport mode, it's very sharp. In Eco Pro, it's a lot more sluggish. It almost feels like you're driving a different car. Despite its size, the X7 feels pretty agile. Steering is relatively quick for an SUV. It has 265 horsepower and 620 Nm of torque. You feel the power at around 3,500 RPM. If this is your first time driving a European SUV, this will bring a smile to your face. Even if you're not the type who likes going fast, the power still gives you confidence when overtaking, and I had to do a lot of that on this trip.
Turn right.
NVH levels on the X7 are very good. Almost too good maybe. Under 2000 RPM, you can barely hear the engine. You can also barely feel engine vibration, which makes shifting using the paddle shifters not as intuitive as on some other vehicles. Both the X5 and the X7 are surprisingly quiet. So quiet that I had to confirm that they were actually diesel models, because they sound like they have petrol engines even when you're revving it at higher RPMs. The X7 comes with an 8-speed transmission, and you get paddle shifters. Shifting using the paddle shifters is very quick. It's even faster than some sports cars that I've driven. Okay, so I've been driving this for about 6 hours now, back and forth. And I think medyo halata na, mukha na akong sabog. So I like almost everything about it. The only thing is that I wish it had adaptive cruise control. I think that would have helped a lot during this 6-hour trip. I love these seats. I like the fact that it has adjustable lumbar support and adjustable thigh support. It feels fast. You don't feel the power so much under 2000 RPM, but once you get up to the higher RPM ranges, you feel the power. It feels like it peaks at around 4000 RPM and gradually tapers off at 5000. The X7 has air suspension. I'm not sure if it's psychological, but it feels flatter on the corners compared to the X5. Okay, so we're now back in Metro Manila, and we're almost back in Libis. And this was quite a fun but also quite tiring trip. Fun because I got to stretch the legs of the X7 quite a bit. I'm not going to tell you how fast I went, but I didn't break the speed limit. Currently, the 30D is the only variant of the X7 that BMW sells in the Philippines, and it sells for 9 million pesos. In terms of competition, I don't think Mercedes offers the GLS in the Philippines yet. So at that price, the X7 is at the pinnacle of the pecking order of SUVs here. This behemoth makes other statement SUVs like Land Cruisers or Nissan Patrols look pretty ordinary by comparison. So, is it worth your money? At these prices, value for money isn't the highest of concerns for buyers. It's all about prestige and exclusivity. And by those measures, the BMW X7 delivers in droves. If you need an SUV that doesn't just get you from point A to B, but also delivers a statement in the process, this is the SUV for you. Anyway, what do you think of the X7? Is this something that you would buy if you had the Mola? Let me know in the comments below, and please click on like and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. I'm still driving.